Alfia was an executive of the Hestia Familia and is a character in Dan Maki Memoria frieze that appears in the Astria record event. Alfia was a fair-skinned woman with silver hair. She had heterochromia, with her right eye being green while she left was grey. She was dressed in a dark goth-like dress that spanned down to her feet. Around her neck, she had a necklace with a green gemstone decorated. She also wore dark, semi-transparent gloves. Alfia was a collected woman, almost always portraying a calm expression. Despite her usual composed attitude, she could be driven to aggression if provoked. She was an extremely insightful person, as she noticed Ai's true nature shortly after seeing her for the first time. She seemed to have a certain bond with her sister, visiting a church because it was a place her sister was fond of, and holding a certain contempt that she lived so long with her illness in comparison to her while she died. As a result of the wide gap in combat aptitude between them, Alfia believed she stole her sister's talent while they were in their mother's womb and considered it to be her sin. Because of it, she cursed her abilities and hated them more than anything. Her disgust was such that she developed an enchantment with the peculiarity of greatly reducing the power of the rest of her magic. Although she was aware of her sister's son, she let her sister give him to Zeus to take care of, claiming that she had no right to take care of him because she chose her interests over him. Nevertheless, she still cared a great deal for him, wishing that by strengthening Aurario she could create a world in which she didn't need to wield a weapon. In her final moments, she willingly fell several floors to the deep floors of the dungeon, to be consumed by flames and become ashes like her sister. Alfia had a deep regret about being defeated by the one-eyed black dragon. Having witnessed the dragon's power for herself, she developed a serious concern for the future battle against it. Determined to increase Aurario's power, her resolve was shown to be monumental, willing to unleash chaos, death, and despair on Aurario to force them to strengthen themselves in preparation for said battle. At the same time, she proved to be a person of unwavering determination, maintaining her act as a villain even when severely weakened and at death's door. In her final clash against the Hestia Familia, she said that the only way to defeat her was to be a hero, demonstrating that she saw herself as a test for heroes. Like Zald, Alfia had a sense of honor, as shown when she gave up after being defeated by the Hestia Familia and commended them for doing so, along with acknowledging justice. Things like fame didn't matter to her, dying satisfied just knowing she had accomplished her goal. Despite her usually peaceful expression and demeanor, the truth is that Alfia was a selfish, neurotic, and violent woman. She hated noise and could be extremely controlling. A lover of silence by nature, she used to get upset if someone made too much noise for her liking, seeking to silence the source of the scandal. She also hated being called old, ordering Kaguya to retract when she referred to her as one, or in any way that might suggest she was older than she was, even being one of her motivations not to see her sister's son that she didn't want to be called that. She maintained this character both in and out of battle. In both cases she did not care if her target was a child or someone that she was fond of. She did not regulate the seriousness of her punishment, showing how extremist she could be. About her dislike of noise, Alfia developed a sort of idiosyncrasy regarding the word, as she referred to multiple things that bothered her as noise, regardless of whether they were. She applied the use of the word to herself as well, referring to her abilities as her noise. Her aberration ended up being strong enough to sway her fauna with both the name and the chant of her nullifying magic, Silentium Eden, alluding to her preference for silence. She reigned with the hand of steel since she did not allow anyone to oppose her or what she said, and did what she wanted without consulting anyone else. Likewise, she was very harsh in her teaching methods, deciding to expose her students to risky situations so that they would know the feeling of being on the verge of death even if they were children. Besides that, she was also a very clumsy person. Alfia had a belief that, regardless of age, people aged in a certain way as time went by due to the regrets that they accumulated throughout their lives. For this reason, she believed that one should stick to their beliefs and values to live without regretting anything. While she detested being called old, she acknowledged that she was quite old person by this criterion of hers, and noted that she had multiple regrets. Ironically, although she shared several traits with her, Alfia hated her goddess, Hera, of whom she spoke badly and with annoyance every time she mentioned her. She also hated perverted acts. She always punished Zeus' constant attempts to touch her, either by herself attacking him with her magic or by telling Hera about it, causing her to feel a particular dislike towards the elder god. However, she recognized that he could be a good god too. She hated her nephew's father, likely due to his attitude and relationship with Meteria. She expressed disgust and anger whenever she spoke of him, loathing him to the point of commenting that she wanted to gouge her nephew's eyes, as they are the only physical trait he inherited from him. Alfia was on good terms with Salt. They came to know each other very well due to their family's long relation and shared an inseparable bond. Their relationship was kind of like an uncle and niece, with Alfia having relied on him ever since the downfall of their families and spending her remaining days after the event along with Salt. Alfia was born with an incurable disease, which prevented her from fighting for long periods. 15 years ago, she dealt the final blow to Leviathan using Genos Angelus. After that, her condition was said to have worsened. Sometime later, she and the rest of the Zeus and Hera Familias were easily defeated by the one-eyed black dragon. Following the destruction of both families, she spent most of the rest of her days living with Salt, who took care of her and also helped the school district by acting as a gatekeeper of a certain barrier. She continued with said lifestyle until Erebus came to visit them and ask for their help in his plan to serve as a stepping stone for Aurario to strengthen them for the sack of the world. Feeling the end of their fleeting lives near, and wishing to make something out of them, they agreed. As decided upon the agreement, she served as one of Evil's main forces to antagonize the Labyrinth City before and during the events of the Great Feud. She eventually died as a villain after she purposely fell to the fiery bottom of a deep pit created all the way to the deep floors once she was defeated by the Hestia Familia.